Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Thank you guys for tuning in to tonight's gratitude session. Hey, I see some familiar faces popping in tonight. Thank you guys for joining in. Just inspired. Just had thoughts and thoughts and thoughts and more thoughts, and that's how things get inspired, with thoughts. So tonight we are going to talk about letting your light shine. It's been one of those ongoing topics that's been on and off of my brain for years. How do you let your light shine? How do you allow yourself to be your whole self, your full self, and just living in your passion, living in your purpose? So that's what we're going to focus on tonight. And as usual, those who usually follow me in my scope, it's going to be an interactive session. Pretty much going to go through my list, and as I go, explain each part, and then as we go, just ask questions as we go. And thank you guys for tapping the screen, showing some love. I do appreciate it. And please invite your followers, because this is going to be warning now, it's going to be a long one. So if you're here with me for the long haul, stay with me. If not, you guys can catch it on the replay, because this is going to be a long one. So for the few of you that are in the room now, I want to hear from you guys. So what do you guys think or feel that allowing your light to shine? What do you guys think or feel that is for you right now? Is letting the light shine being part of who you are, being part of your destiny, being part of your purpose? What do you guys feel that is before I really get in deep here? Thank you guys. Thank you, Rocky. Thank you, Dinesh, for inviting your followers. Thank you guys. So as I wait for a few of you, more of you, yes, love is my purpose. I love that one. Anyone else? Any other thoughts? So for those of you that are just popping in, talking about how to let your light shine and really discover your purpose and your passion in who you are and what it is that you do. For those of you that don't know, or on your path to knowing a better, more refined you, right? So, yes, love is the purpose. Love is the key and operative word for tonight, guys. Thank you so much, Danessa, for sharing that. Anyone else, before I really jump into it here? Okay, so we're going to just jump right on in here. And letting your light shine is pretty much allowing your whole self, your full self, to be present in what it is that you're doing, and taking credit, so to speak, to what it is that you are creating and allowing in your life. So I have a long list that we're going to pretty much go through the list here, keeping track, targeted on my notes. So the first question I want to ask any of you that are out there watching, because there's like 17 of you guys in the chat room, and I appreciate you all for the hearts and the love and the sharing with your followers, but I want to know, how many of you feel like that you are a spotlight? And what that means is, if you are casting your light upon others and allowing other people to shine and allowing them to take some of the credit in what it is that you're doing, what it is that you're creating, or are you just simply allowing you to be fully present? So how many of you in this room, in this chat room, feel like that you are a spotlight? Anyone? All you have to do is just say me. Just type me if you are a spotlight. Oh, so no one feels that they're a spotlight. Yay! Okay, so we have one person that feels that they are a spotlight. So when you are in that place of being a spotlight, that means you are allowing yourself to be present in what it is that you are creating. You know, you are just like, I am here, I am doing what it is that I need to do, but at the same time, there is a place to where we feel like we shouldn't be taking all the credit for what it is that we do, for what we create. So, next question I want to ask are you guys, are you sharing your light with others? So if you are a spotlight, this big bright light, like the sun, like a star shining over our heads this evening, how many of you are sharing that light with others? Just type me if you feel like you're sharing your light with others. Yay! So we have one spotlight and one spotlight who shares it. Yay! Also we have two. Thank you guys for your comments. I do appreciate this interaction. You know, because that's what it's my scopes are primarily about, you know, me helping others. Yes, Rocky, you are light. The purpose of my gratitude sessions and my scopes for them to be interactive. So we have to, you know, because we're here to work together, to elevate, to grow, and to simply just be who we are. And I'm a flashlight. You're much bigger than a flashlight. Thank you guys for tapping the screen and showing some love. So, for pretty much for those of you who answered me to both of those questions, that if you are a spotlight and if you are sharing your light with others, it simply says that you are on your way to being who you truly are. And that's a big step, because most of us on the planet are awakening to who we are, what we're doing, and really finding alignment in our purpose. Yes, exactly. So how many of you feel like that no matter what it is that you do, that you may feel kind of stuck and may want to find their way out and and what it is that you are doing in your life, and you just like, how do I allow myself to be brilliant and more of what it is that I am creating? And if that's the question you have, then stay tuned, because I will definitely break it down for you here and allowing you to find out more of who you truly are. So in relation to being a spotlight or sharing a spotlight with others, some of us then tend to have some sort of shyness in ourselves. And when we have a level of shyness in our belief system, it holds us away from from taking credit for our work. It allows us, it's taking credit away from who we are. It's taking away credit from our being, our person. So when we are not in that place of saying, okay, I am, you know, this great being of great power and great light, creating everything that I want to create, you know, it allows you for not to be in that space. For example, you have all these reality shows and all these people wanting to be these magnificent stars on television. So they are in the spotlight. They are, you know, who we cast our light on and give our attention to. But it begs to differ. It also shows the difference in saying, okay, this person here is in that light. This person here is doing what it is that they are wanting to do with their life. And yet you have other people that are behind the scenes, which are mostly the shy people who don't want to be seen on camera, or don't want their name to be known or their presence to be felt or heard. They consider themselves meek, they consider themselves shy, and with that level of shyness, you don't allow your power, your voice to be heard. And I just want to speak on example from that, because I'm sitting here in front of you and I'm proof positive that shyness is can really hinder and take away from who you are. And thank you guys so much for inviting all your followers. Thank you for tapping the screen and showing some love. I do much appreciate it. So, life example, because I know you guys love to hear about my personal life examples, is that personally I'm a writer. I love to write poetry. I love to write about spirituality. I love to write about inspirational things to lift others up. So on my journey of being a writer, and I've always felt that my words should speak for themselves. I always felt my words is enough to allow them from Chicago. I always allowed my words, or felt my words were enough. That my words were, it's like, okay, it's enough for me to write this poem down. It's enough for me to write a few paragraphs down to help lift others up. They don't need to know who I am. They just need to know the words. And I couldn't be more wrong about that. I couldn't have been more wrong about that logic of thinking that I've overanalyzed. It's like, it's time for me to step out from behind the words in which I represent as a poet, as an author. And when I stepped out from behind those words, I was able to connect with people as I'm connecting with you all now, and allowing them to see and hear my voice, my thoughts, the inspirations in which allow me to create and share and release my fears, my shyness of not wanting to be seen. Because it also comes back to my fear of being judged. And that's a big one, especially if you are in a world of being a spotlight or casting a light upon someone else. That's a big deal, because you allow yourself not to be seen nor heard. It's just, this is it, this is who I am, and there's nothing more to it. But when you step out from behind the work in which you represent and let someone else lay claim to your creativity, you reduce your sense of self, you reduce your being, you reduce your creativity, you shrink down to a level in which you feel at ease or comfortable with, until you allow yourself to be, till you get had enough, until you get frustrated, until you get angry enough to do something about it, till you create the change that you want to create from being in that space. So, for those of you that are just joining in, I do appreciate you guys so much for inviting your followers. We are talking about how to let your light shine and to release, all that which is holding you for a more fulfilling life of living in your purpose, living in your passion. And if you guys want to know more about me, my name is Hillis, and thank you for tuning in to my scope. You can visit HillisPugh.com to find out more about me, what I do, my writings, my poetry, all things Hillis, all things spirituality. So, staying on topic. So, any questions so far, guys? Because I want to just make sure that we are all clear and that we are all on the same page when it comes to, your shyness and having the spotlight, or are you a spotlight, or being a spotlight for someone else. So any questions so far, guys, before I move forward? And if there's a question that pops up as I go forward, definitely I will stop to address the question, so we are all on the same page. Because that's my mission, is my purpose, is to making sure that we are all on the same page, that we are all in a place of understanding of life and love and joy and happiness and appreciation. That's my purpose, and that's why I share my light with others. Okay, so there are no questions. So, moving on, I want to talk about giving and receiving and the difference between the two. Especially if you are a spotlight or sharing your spotlight, it's a huge difference. And and it can be a struggle or challenge for people because, one, I'm going to break the difference down between the two. A giver and a receiver. So if you are someone who's an avid giver, you may have difficulty receiving or asking for help. Okay, and like I say, I definitely was one of those. So if you're a giver, and that means you are giving of your time, you are giving of yourself, you are giving of, financially. It doesn't matter in which ways that you give yourself, and it doesn't matter in which ways that you give of your time and energy. You just give and give and give until you can't give anymore. However, on the same side of the coin, if you're someone who receives, you have trouble giving. So someone who receives is an avid receiver. They tend to just receive and take and not even offer up anything to give because they just feel they deserve everything in which they receive. And that's something that's in their belief system. And when they just believe in what they receive, and they have no choice. Like, well, I don't have no reason to give. I'm just going to receive all I can and take all I can and let that be that. So now if you are if you are a giver or a receiver, now that you don't know the difference between the two, you know who you are, may fall in which category. The question is, how do I find balance in being a giver and a receiver? How can I, if I'm a giver, how do I allow myself to receive the help in which I've asked? And that goes back to what I was just talking about previously. If you're shy and if you are a giver, you kind of lose your voice. It's like, okay, who can I ask? Who can I go to in terms of help? Who can I go to? Who can I ask in terms of someone that would help me without me being ashamed, without me being embarrassed, without someone taking advantage of me when I truly need help? And that is the issues that people have when they are giving, because they don't know what to do in order to receive. And when you don't know what to do to receive, you just, have trust issues, you have fear, you have judgment, you have all these negative thoughts looming over your head. So when you have all these looming thoughts hanging over your head, you tend to go to the first thing in which you are drawn to for help. And, life example, because I know you guys love life examples. For me personally, because I was a giver, an avid giver, gave whatever I could whenever I could. But when I needed help, I knew I could always turn to family. I knew I always had a few friends in my back pocket I could always go to. But it wasn't until I realized that I really needed help. Didn't know where to go, didn't know who to turn to, but I knew I could go to my mom, my aunt, a few close friends, and I'm like, I need help. But here, the brain and the mind, it's like, okay, I know I have help, but how do I go ask for help? And that's the big thing, is asking for it. Do we, how do we approach the situation? How do we allow ourselves to just be in a place to ask for that help? Now, how I got to that place is just, finding the courage within me to go ask for it. And that's what I say to you all now. If you all are givers and you are in a place of needing and wanting help, find the courage within you to ask for it. Because you all know the help is there. We just have to have the courage to ask for it. Because that's basically what it comes down to, is us asking for the help in which we want to receive and which we deserve to receive for our overall well-being. So thank you guys for joining in, and thank you guys for tapping the screen, showing some love. I do appreciate it so much. So if you guys are just popping into the chat room, we are talking about how to let your light shine and the path to get to that. And right now we are just wrapping up the two-part session of giving and receiving. And if you're a giver, you just have to ask the help to receive if you're a giver, because you just have to get past the shame, you have to get past the embarrassment, because whatever thoughts and limitations that you set upon yourself as someone who gives a lot, you have to look past all of that. The pride, which is a big one. If you are a giver, you probably have a lot of pride, because it's like, I don't have to go to anyone to ask for it because I have everything I need right here and now. I have it all. Until it's like, okay, wait, it's gone. What do I do? And it's like, okay, I can't do anything right now. And yes, exactly. Exactly, Kira. That's the biggest one. You have to give to yourself, which is receiving, which I'm going to get to next. So, for those of you who are receivers out there, it's really hard and more difficult for you to give, because you are in this, how do you keep going after the first step? Habits are hard to break. So it's just practices, and I will give you guys some practices at the end of this scope to break old habits, because when you have old habits, and like I say in my other scopes, is that a belief is a thought you just keep thinking over and over again until it just becomes ingrained in your belief system, in your psyche, and then you just follow a routine, and that routine is just a habit in which you create. It just becomes a part of your everyday. So I'm going to give you guys some tips at the end of the scope to kind of break those little habits. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Rocky. Practice will build a new belief. But going back to what I was saying about if you are a receiver and you need to learn how to give, is definitely have to look at what it is that you're taking. Are you taking of someone's time? Are you taking of someone's energy? Are you taking of someone's innocence and naive? Are you taking away someone's finances? So you have to really look at where you are and what it is that where it is you're receiving from. And if you're receiving from, and where and how you are receiving, that's the big one, how you are receiving. If you're receiving things with a genuine heart and have no guilt or no shame about what it is that you're receiving, then you're fine. I mean, it's just those who carry a load of guilt and shame with what it is that they receive, and that does not come from a good place. But when you are looking to give and you're a receiver in that same situation, then you have to give from a place that feels good. Just like when you receive from a place within you that feels good, then you allow yourself to be open enough to give of what you have received. The reason why a lot of people, celebrity status, most of them have foundations and they are able to give in that manner. And people always, what's the word I'm looking for, have a different meaning or connotation when they hear the word philanthropist. And a lot of people don't consider themselves a philanthropist, but in most ways we all are. And I just want to break that word down for you real quick, because a philanthropist is someone who gives of themselves, someone who gives of their time, their energy. Doesn't matter in which way that they give, they just give the best way they can and the best way they know how. And so with that thought, we are all philanthropists. We are all giving of ourselves. We are all giving of our time and energy. And with that being said, we just allow ourselves to find that balance of being a giver and a receiver. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in to tonight's scope, where we're talking about letting your light shine and the path to getting there. It's a tricky path, but if you really stop to focus and see where you are and what you're passionate about it and what your purpose is, and you notice and you become more aware of the obstacles that are in your path, and you definitely just allow yourself to be more open and free to live in your light, because that's what's most important, is to allow your light to shine and be see, don't make me cry. You're gonna make me cry now. Just allowing your light to shine, no matter what it is that you do. So, Carrie, see, we're not gonna have a cry fest on Scope. I've had 2 of those already. Not gonna have another one. Anyway, wow, you guys are not so talkative tonight. I'm usually have like a really interactive group. Only warriors cry. Yes, love fest for sure. And Rhonda, I know that Rocky talked to you about the first step, which is practice, which is amazing, because believe it or not, we're almost to the end of this scope. But before I get to the end, I know some of you guys have been following me for a few weeks now. I want to hear from you guys. I haven't received any emails yet, and I've been asking you guys to see what some of your practices were, and have you guys been keeping up with any practices before I share any with this one to allow your light to shine. Thank you, Rocky, for putting up my website. Yeah, so I want to hear from you guys. What have you guys been up to? What have you guys been doing in terms of practicing gratitude every day? That's what I want to hear about before I share any practices about letting your light shine, because letting your light shine is just allowing you to be your authentic self. Is allowing you to live in your light, to live in your love, to live in your passion, to live in your purpose. Your light, allowing your light to shine, is just you being you with no apologies to anyone, because you are who you are for that reason, because you chose to come into this world for a reason. You chose to come in here knowing the path that you were going to be walking into. And with that, we tend to find life's distractions, but yet we still find ourselves on our path and to be and wanted to be heard. And when we allow ourselves to be heard, then our light is able to shine more vividly. Yes, I love it. No apologies, exactly. Because when we live in a world of where we're always saying I'm sorry just for, bumping into somebody, or saying I'm sorry just for not living up to someone else's expectations of us. When we're living in the world of saying I'm sorry, it's just like, I didn't mean to do that, excuse me, I'm sorry. It's like when we walk in the world of saying I'm sorry, we are walking in the world of fear, judgment, doubt, and we always have to apologize. But what are we truly apologizing for? Are we apologizing because of something that we've done or yet to do? Or are we apologizing for, who we really are, and who are we really? And most of us are still on that path to knowing. So, Rhonda, this is for you, my dear, because I know you wanting to get to a place to allowing your light to shine. And I encourage all of you to practice these steps I'm going to give you, because it's pivotal to allowing you to just simply live in your light, live in your purpose, live in your dream. So, my favorite part, homework. Everybody's going to have homework, and I want to hear from you guys and how you guys are doing on the homework, because this is what makes me happy. This is what brings me joy, is to hearing from you guys. And you guys are a quiet group. But anyway, here we go. So, as Rhonda, as Rocky mentioned to you, the first step is practice. Because what it is, you really have to find what it is that you want to do in your life. You really want to find your purpose and your passion. When you find that, then the rest is kind of going to flow along as you allow, as you create it to be. And that's the most important part. For example, if you have, sometimes it finds you exactly. But if you have a habitual thing that you are aware of, let's say, for example, you wake up every day, you make a cup of coffee, and you do X, Y, and Z, okay? And you say to yourself, well, I want to reduce the caffeine intake in my day. I want to reduce the caffeine. So, the first thing, along with practicing, is write down an affirmation. Write down an I am statement, which is an affirmation which brings more positive light and energy into what it is that you do. And you could say, I am going to reduce my caffeine intake by 10%. Okay? So, whatever it is that you want to do, start with, you can write it down, you can say it out loud to yourself while you're in the shower, you can say it to yourself throughout the day. It's just so you can have a point of focus to keep you focused on what it is that you want. And then followed by that, then you have to take action steps. So you know that you want to reduce your caffeine intake by 10%. So what's the first thing you want to do? You want to look for other alternatives. And that could be, okay, well, instead of coffee, I can drink tea. That's your action step. Find a replacement. Find a suitable replacement for that habitual habit. Habitual habit. Or habitual routine, whichever one works. And then once you take that action step, then you allow yourself to step further into allowing your authentic self to come through. The most important thing is when you're taking the action step is to have that courage to do so. And how do you find that courage? You find it by trusting yourself, trusting your instincts, trusting the intuition, knowing that this is the right thing for you to do right now. Okay, does that make sense to you, Rhonda? So it's pretty much simple 1, 2, 3 steps, but it's the in-between that I want you to pay most attention to, and how you feel, and how much you are aware of everything that you are doing while you're proceeding through the steps. Because that's the big deal. Is because you could do all the steps, take all the action in the world that you want, but the key is, how do you feel in the in-between? How do you feel while you're doing it? Because if you don't feel good while you're doing it, then don't bother. Okay, you're wasting the universe's time and energy. Because I don't know, for those of you that tuned in to Rocky's Scope yesterday, and something I read the other day too just makes sense, and I know it's going to make sense to a lot of you guys here. It's because that we talk in all these words and actions and writing things down and putting the action plan together and taking notes and doing all these things. We're doing all these things to make things happen. And when all that we need to really do is to, I'll tell you in 1 second, all we really need to do is to focus. All we really need to do is pay attention to how we feel. That's what's most important. Because here's the key, guys. The universe speaks in vibration. Yes, the universe speaks in vibration. The universe only hears how we feel. The universe only hears how we feel, and how we feel is all that really matters. You can say that I'm going to go out and kill somebody and feel good about it, about you saying you're going to go kill somebody, and guess what? The universe will send you somebody to kill. I'm not saying that that's ever happens, just an example, but just an extreme example of how the universe responds to how you feel, to your vibration, to your frequency, because that's all that really matters. So, Rhonda, how do you narrow down? Then you just have to feel good about what it is that you really want to do, allowing your light to shine. Because for your light to shine, you really have to step into what it is that you want to do. It can be baby steps. But as long as you get there, as long as you feel good, because, guys, I can't stress this enough. And it really hit home for me when I saw it. And it just, when the universe speaks in vibration, the universe speaks in frequency, it's all about how we feel. And nothing else really truly matters except how we feel in everything that we do. And if we don't feel good, then don't do it. I mean, you can have your most passionate thing in front of you that you're working on. You can have a book, for example, that you're working on, that you're writing, and you have a deadline that's due, but guess what? You may not want to do it at that time. So instead, what do? You procrastinate. You procrastinate until you feel good about doing it. And when you feel good about doing it, then it comes out better than you ever anticipated. And I can say that's true because, being a poet, I have things flowing in my mind all the time. But I don't write things down right then and there. Still hold the thoughts. I still hold the general thoughts of what I want, because the universe is holding it for me. The universe is saying, okay, when you're ready, when you're in alignment, then you can put it down on paper. You can put it down in your computer. You can save it to attach to this, and you can save it to attach to that. So when you feel good, when you're in alignment with feeling good, then you can take the action. So yeah. Does that help, Rhonda? I really hope it does. I just feel good. I'm just like hanging out in my home, sharing my love with you guys. So, for those of you that are just tuning in, I'm going to wrap up soon, but you can definitely catch this on the replay. And we are wrapping up how to let your light shine. And I know that it sounds easier said than done, which it is. But if you guys are more than welcome to watch everything back on the replay. So are there any questions for me before I wrap this up? Because I am just in the flow of things and just feeling kind of mellow, feeling kind of good. You're so welcome. So yeah, any questions, guys? Because I really just want to make sure that we are all clear, that we're all on the same page, and how to proceed in your everyday to allow your light to shine, no matter what environment you're in, no matter what challenges you face, knowing that everything is your choice, as long as you feel good about allowing your light to shine in and taking the courage, and that's big, taking the courage to take the necessary steps. As long as you feel good about taking those necessary steps, then do it. And don't let anyone else diminish your light, because you all are all wonderful beings of love, light, and creation. And your light is just as bright as the person you're sitting next to on the train, bus, at work, doesn't matter. Your light is as equally as bright as the other that is next to you. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this scope. You guys can catch the replay, and if you guys don't have any questions, I'm going to hang out for a few more moments, but I probably will wrap up. I love you guys immensely. Thank you, Carrie. So I love you guys immensely. I love you guys so much, and continue to let your light shine no matter where you go. Love you all.